This video will show you how to use Code for America's simplified tax filing portal GetCTC, and specifically GetCTC's new Earned Income Tax Credit functionality, available as of October 2022. GetCTC allows households without a tax filing obligation to file a simplified 2021 tax return to access the child tax credit, the third stimulus payment, and now the Earned Income Tax Credit. EITC functionality is available through the existing GetCTC tool at getctc.org. Clients do not have to visit a special page to claim the EITC. Please note that the last day for new clients to file a return on GetCTC this year is November 15th, 2022. First, GetCTC will go through a few steps to confirm that it's the right tool for me. The tool asks first where I spent most of 2021. To claim EITC, notably, I must have lived in one of the 50 states, the District of Columbia, or a U.S. military facility. Families in Puerto Rico are able to claim the CTC, but not the other two credits, using GetCTC. GetCTC asks next if I was married or single in 2021. The rules of simplified filing, notably, effectively do not allow households to elect the married filing separately filing status. Then the tool confirms that the IRS allows me to use simplified filing, since households with higher incomes or other special circumstances, like self-employment income, are required to file a full return. GetCTC will then warn me that I could get even more money by filing a full return or filing back taxes. For now, I'll opt to continue with this tool. Next, GetCTC will ask if I would like to try to claim the EITC. Unlike claiming the CTC and stimulus payments, claiming EITC requires submitting data from Forms W-2 documenting income from 2021. If I select No, GetCTC proceeds as it has previously to claim CTC and RRC. Instead, I'll select Yes, so that GetCTC will ask me additional questions necessary to claim the EITC. Next, GetCTC will ask me a few other questions to confirm I'm eligible to use the tool. It lists a few additional and rare scenarios that GetCTC does not support, and will ask whether I filed a 2021 return this year. If I already submitted a return, the IRS would reject a new one I file through this tool. Finally, GetCTC will confirm that no one can claim me as a dependent, since that would make me ineligible for CTC, stimulus checks, and EITC. I've now confirmed I'm eligible to use GetCTC. In the next section, GetCTC asks for some basic information about me. I'll enter my name, date of birth, and social security number. Note that I could also enter an ITIN. Behind the scenes, GetCTC will confirm that my identification number makes me eligible for EITC. If I have an ITIN or my social security number is not valid for employment, the tool will alert me that I cannot claim the EITC. As required by the IRS, GetCTC asks for my phone number. It also asks if I was a member of the armed forces in 2021, since that could impact the amount of my recovery rebate credit. As required by the IRS, GetCTC asks if I am legally blind. Finally, GetCTC asks me to agree to the privacy policy. Then the tool will check if I filed a 2020 return. If I did, GetCTC would collect my 2020 adjusted gross income, which the IRS requires from filers for authentication purposes. In this case, I'll say that I didn't file last year. On this page, we ask clients the contact method we can use to best reach them. Note, GetCTC does not require clients to create an account and does not require them to have an email address. Clients simply have to sign up using their email or their phone. In this case, I'll choose to sign up by phone. GetCTC will send me a 6-digit code that I must enter to confirm it's mine. For the purposes of this demo, I'll enter a fake code on this page. Note that if I don't finish my return in one sitting, I can log back in and continue using this contact method. Next, if I were filing married, GetCTC would collect needed information about my spouse, their name, date of birth, social security number or ITIN, and 2020 adjusted gross income, if applicable. In this case, I'm filing single, so GetCTC will skip this section. Finally, because I am claiming EITC, GetCTC will confirm that my investment income is not in excess of the $10,000 limit. If it were, I would continue claiming only CTC and the third stimulus payment. In the next section, GetCTC allows me to list my 2021 dependents. Rather than assume I've read all the rules, GetCTC asks me all the key questions I need to answer to make sure I can claim my dependents. Keep in mind that the pages clients see in this section very much depend on the answers they provide. First, I'll enter my dependent's basic information: name, date of birth, relationship to me, and SSN, or ITIN. we ask about one specific scenario to confirm basic eligibility. Next, GetCTC will ask me to confirm a few more criteria. Behind the scenes, GetCTC will determine which credits my dependent is eligible for. Finally, GetCTC will show me a list of my dependents, including whether they are eligible for CTC, the third stimulus payment, and EITC. I can keep repeating this process until all my dependents are recorded. For now, I'll say I only have one dependent. At this point, if I were claiming the EITC without dependents, and if I were less than 24 years old, GetCTC would confirm that I pass one of the age test exceptions to claim EITC. Because I am claiming a child, and because I am more than 24, I'm not asked these questions. Because GetCTC has determined that I meet all the basic eligibility criteria to claim the EITC, the tool will now go on to ask for my form's W-2. I must enter all W-2s I, or if married, I and my spouse, received for tax year 2021. Note that I have the option to log out and do this later if I need to track down my forms. And I also have the option to skip income reporting entirely if I can't find the forms. If I skip income reporting, I'll be offboarded from the EITC process, and will continue claiming only the CTC and third stimulus payment. Per IRS rules, I'm required to transcribe the entirety of my W-2. The boxes of the W-2 are spread across several pages. Any boxes that are blank on my W-2 can be left blank in GetCTC. If any information on the W-2 implies that I have a full filing obligation, GetCTC will alert me that I cannot use this tool and should file a full return instead. Once I finish adding my W-2, I have the option to edit it or to add another. In this case, I'll say I only have one W-2 and will click Continue. Behind the scenes, GetCTC will review my total income and make sure I am eligible to continue claiming EITC. If my income exceeds any relevant thresholds, GetCTC will show me the relevant warnings and route my return accordingly. In the next section, GetCTC will determine the amount of my child tax credit and recovery rebate credit. This section is unchanged from before the launch of EITC functionality. First, GetCTC will figure out how much CTC I can claim. The IRS requires families to report how much advanced CTC they received last year and subtract this from their total credit. GetCTC makes this process easier by calculating how much families should have received based on the dependents they provided earlier. I can say that I got this amount, a different amount, or no payment at all. In this case, I'll say I got the estimated amount. GetCTC calculates the remaining CTC available to me. Next, GetCTC will figure out how much recovery rebate credit I can claim, that is, the third stimulus payment. As with CTC, the IRS requires families to report how much they received. Again, GetCTC will display how much I should have received based on my family structure. In this case, I'll say I got a different amount. GetCTC will ask me to enter what I received and provide some tips about where to find this information. I'll say in this case that I received $200. GetCTC will then let me review the amount I'm claiming. Finally, GetCTC will collect my payment information and allow me to review and submit my return. I can select direct deposit or a mailed check. In this case, I'll select direct deposit. GetCTC asks me to confirm that my name is on the bank account, so the payment is not rejected. I'll provide my routing number and my account number. And finally, we'll have the chance to confirm my information. The IRS also requires that I provide my mailing address. GetCTC allows me to enter identity protection pins for anyone in my family who has one, and provides more information about what an IP pin is. I'll say that no one in my family has one. Now, I can review all the information I've submitted and go back to edit anything that's wrong. On this page, as required by the IRS, I set a 5-digit PIN that I can use to authenticate when I file next year. On the next page, I'll see a final summary of the payments I am claiming, including the EITC and any withholding from my W-2. Next, I have the option to select which language I would like the IRS to use in future communications with me. I'll say that I'd like communications in Arabic. Next, I have the option to submit my driver's license information, and my spouse's if I were filing married. Especially for clients without a tax filing history, the IRS may process returns and issue refunds faster if this information is submitted, and we recommend clients provide it if possible. But it is not required. If I don't have a driver's license, or don't want to provide this information, I can skip this page. Finally, I'll agree to our terms on the last page, and I'll file. Just like that, I've filed my simplified return. GetCTC will alert me within a couple of days whether my return has been accepted or rejected by the IRS. Most clients hear within a few hours. If my return was rejected, GetCTC will provide me with a plain language explanation of why, and allow me to log back in and resubmit my return. You can find GetCTC at getctc.org. For more resources about the CTC and stimulus payments, visit getctc.org/navigators.